One of the words that Per Schutz introduced us to, and which I used in this book, Pips and Pipping. By the way, Pips and Pipping wasn't his term. He got used to it. It's my expression for this phenomenon of making yourself smaller. But he talked passionately about what he called capaciousness. And it's a very key concept. He meant capaciousness of mind. A person with a big mind can adapt to other people's ideas. There's less likelihood of conflict. So this is a very important principle. A person with a big or capacious mind can have their own ideas. Listen, anyone's entitled to their own ideas. It's a freedom we all enjoy. The problem comes when we don't want to tolerate other people's ideas for a variety of reasons. But a capacious, big-minded, or big-hearted person would be able to accept and understand other people's point of view. You know, he or she might say, well, I don't actually totally agree with that. That doesn't fit with my experience, but I do see what you're saying and I understand. I can see why you think that. And I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that I think perhaps slightly differently. Now, wouldn't it be nice if everyone we met was like that? But unfortunately, it's not. Usually the person has less capaciousness. They have their own ideas, but they won't tolerate other ideas in their vicinity. So that's the kind of person that's going to say, that's wrong. What complete nonsense. What are you talking about, you idiot? Everybody knows that's wrong. You must understand. This is the facts. I'm telling you what is true. I had to act that out a little bit. I hope you noticed. But haven't we met these people? We meet them all the time. They're very intolerant. You see, their capaciousness is right down. And when a new idea or another person's viewpoint comes to them, they solve this by bouncing it off, throwing it away. Go away. I don't accept this. I reject this. Pushing back. Do you see? And I'm sure you readily see that that's the mechanism. That's what the person's essentially doing. And it's very unpleasant indeed. It's filled with conflict and possible hatred, annoyance. You meet this particularly in 2 or 3 areas. One of them is religion. A person is brought up in a particular religion where they're told certain things are true. That's true, that is the truth, that is the only truth. That is the only way to find your way to God, and it's totally, everything else is wrong, everything else is heretical, it's evil. I don't need to go on, you know what I'm talking about. So religion is one of the great small-minded dogmas, basically. You can say 1 or 2 exceptions. Perhaps Buddhism used to be a tolerant religion. In fact, one used to be able to say no war or killing was ever done in the name of Buddhism. That just doesn't seem to be true anymore, sadly. Anyway, the other big area in which you get this kind of rejection or bouncing of other people's ideas is politics, of course. There's Party A, Party B. Party A doesn't want a dialogue anymore with Party B, but they disparage them. They call them idiots. Are you so stupid that you don't know you're an idiot? Kind of dialogue that obviously doesn't work. But I mean, in the USA here, since the 2016 presidential election, there's been so much conflict between the 2 groups. Neither will give an inch to the other. It's hatred, it's bitterness, it's actually psychical violence and bordering on physical violence. No, you are wrong, you are evil, this is blah, 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 that kind of thing. So politics can do it. I mean, we lost some very dear friends of ours that didn't agree with the political choice that we'd made. So we are evil, we're stupid, I don't want to be friends with you anymore. And these were, good friends of a decade or more. So that's how disparaging it became and how divisive politics became. It's worse now. I mean, you could say it's always been there to a degree. That's true, but it's never been so bitter, divisive and polarized as it has in the last few years. The other place where you meet this is on the internet. If you have an idea and you dare to publish something, you blog it or put it on Facebook or Instagram or one of these things, somebody somewhere is going to disagree with you and they're going to become very abusive. Are you some kind of jerk, some kind of retard? Whoever would think such a bunch of junk? And that's really often the tone and the manner of things that are going on social media these days. You can get flamed, you can get attacked. We have things called trolls that are likely to go out and try and smash your reputation, make you look foolish. It's really bad news. It's all part of this phenomenon of lack of capaciousness, okay? So there's the person who has the big mind and is capacious. There's a person that doesn't. They have a small mind, but they bounce off idea. They push them away. Reject. Hostility, all those kind of things. But there's a third type of person, and you probably recognize this one too, a person who has their own ideas, but they're very insecure and shaky in what they believe, and somebody comes along and says, that's nonsense, that's rubbish, how can you think that? The person will immediately, reject their own point of view. I'm sorry, I thought. They will give in. So what's happening there, instead of pushing out the alien idea or the alternative or hostile idea, they'll let it in and push out their own idea. So they get taken over with this new kind of dogma, if you like. It's just as destructive to the individual. There's no question, folks. I mean, this is a very important phenomenon, and we need this bigger capaciousness of mind, because without it, there's hostility, people attacking, disagreements, cruelty, violence, all of those things. Conflict, basically, there's conflict. Whereas if a person is capacious, he or she can absorb other points of view, and they're okay with it, that's not a problem. Yeah, sure, if you were raised that way, I understand, I was raised this way, or I've tried so-and-so and I found it actually works better, but it's your right to think or do what you want. So using that tone of voice and that emotional tone, so the person is not being hostile or aggressive. There's clearly some slight difference of opinion, but it's not a big deal to a capacious person. Understanding the other's viewpoint to them is a point of principle, a point of pride, a point of mastery, that this is the ultimate way to get along, the ultimate improved psychology is don't resist other people, absorb them into your frame of reference, understand them. It doesn't mean you have to surrender your own viewpoint. And that's what's wrong with the two negative ones, of course. One's feeling challenged, so somebody trying to make me change my viewpoint, and then the other one who does change their viewpoint because of the hostility they're encountering. The big mind, big-hearted person is okay. Anything is okay. If it's okay with me, that's fine. Don't get agitated about it. Not a problem. Okay, well, I hope you understand this very important principle of capaciousness. That one thing alone could change the world, but it is something which underpins Pips and Pipping, as you will see.